Duane Johnson is a retired American sprinter. He won 4 Olympic gold medals and 8 World Championships gold medals. He formerly held the world and Olympic records in the 200 meters and 400 meters as well as the world record in the indoor 400 meters. He also held the world's best time at the 300 meters. Johnson is generally considered one of the greatest and most consistent sprinters in the history of track and field. He is the only male athlete in history to win both the 200 meters and 400 meters events at the same Olympics, a feat he accomplished at the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta. Johnson is also the only man to successfully defend his Olympic title in the 400 meters. Aside from his Olympic success, Johnson accumulated 8 gold medals at World Championships, and is thus tied with Carl Lewis for the second most gold medals won by a runner. Johnson's stiff upright running position and very short steps defied the conventional wisdom that a high knee lift was essential for maximum speed. As of 2012, Johnson holds 13 of the top 100 times for the 200 meters and 27 of the top 100 times for the 400 meters. Of those, he holds 14 of the top 25 times for the 400 meters. He broke 44 seconds for the 400 meters 22 times, more than twice as many times as any other athlete. Early life and college. Johnson was born and raised in Dallas, Texas as the youngest of 5 children. His parents were a truck driver and a schoolteacher. He began running competitively at age 10, and attended Skyline High School and Baylor University. At Baylor, Johnson was coached by Clyde Hart, and won several NCAA titles in both indoor and outdoor sprints and relays. Among his early collegiate feats, Johnson broke the school record for the 200 meters in his very first race with a time of 20.41, and in 4 times 400 meters relays he clocked a leg at 43.5. He prepared for the 1988 Summer Olympics in Seoul, but developed a stress fracture of his left fibula before the U.S. Olympic trials began. He did not qualify in the 400 meters and he withdrew from the 200 meters. In 1989, he placed second in the 400 at the USA Indoor Championship, while at the NCAA Outdoor Championship he led off runner-up Baylor in the 4x400 with a time of 43.8 and won the 200 in 20.59. Johnson hit his stride in his senior season, winning 3 of the 4 major 200 meters events on the schedule, taking the 400 meters at the USA Indoors Championship, and anchoring several winning relay teams. Johnson graduated from Baylor in 1990 with a bachelor's degree in business, with the #1 world ranking in both the 200 meters and the 400 meters. Professional career. In 1991 at the World Championships in Tokyo, Johnson won his first world title by winning the 200 meters race by the unusual margin of victory of 0.33 of a second over Frankie Fredericks. 2 weeks before the 1992 Summer Olympics began, Johnson and his agent both contracted food poisoning at a restaurant in Spain. Johnson lost both weight and strength. He was the favorite to win the 200 meters going into the Olympics, but he could do no better than 6th in his semi-final heat, and failed to reach the 200 meters final. Nevertheless, he was able to race as a member of the 4 times 400 meters relay team, which won a gold medal and set a new world record time of 2 minutes 55 seconds and 74 milliseconds. Johnson ran his leg in a time of 44.73. He won the 1993 title in the 400 meters, and followed it with world titles in both the 400 meters and 4x400 meters relay. His 42.91 second split time in the 4x400 meters relay remains the fastest 400 meters in history. At the 1995 World Championships in Gothenburg, Johnson won his first 200 meters and 400 meters double. No elite-level male track athlete had accomplished this in a major meet in the 20th century. At the end he made it a triple by adding another title in the 4x400 meters relay. 1996 Atlanta Olympics. In 1996, Johnson ran 19.66 seconds in the 200 meters at the U.S. Olympic trials, breaking Pietro Meni's record of 19.72 seconds, which had stood for nearly 17 years. With that performance he qualified to run at the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta and prepared to attempt to win both the 200 meters and 400 meters events, a feat never before achieved by a male athlete. Johnson entered the Olympic finals donning a custom-designed pair of golden-colored Nike racing spikes made with Zeitel, causing him to be nicknamed the man with the golden shoes. Sources differ on the exact weight of these shoes. The manufacturer of the spikes claims they weighed 3 ounces each, while other sources state each shoe weighed about 94 grams. The left shoe was a US size 10.5 while the right shoe was a US size 11, to account for Johnson's shorter left foot. On July 29, Johnson easily captured the 400 meters Olympic title with an Olympic record time of 43.49 seconds, 0.92 seconds ahead of silver medalist Roger Black of Great Britain. At the 200 meters final on August 1, Johnson ran the opening 100 meters in 10.12 seconds and finished the race in a world record time of 19.32 seconds, breaking by more than 0.3 of a second the previous record he had set in the U.S. Olympic trials on the same track 1 month earlier, the largest improvement ever on a 200 meters world record. Some commentators compared the performance to Bob Beeman's record-shattering long jump at the 1968 Summer Olympics in Mexico City. During the race, Johnson strapped his leg, which prevented him from winning his third gold medal of the Olympics in the 4x400 meters relay as Team USA went on to win the gold even without him. After the 1996 season ended, Johnson received the James E. Sullivan Award as the top amateur athlete in any sport in the United States, and was named ABC's Wide World of Sports Athlete of the Year. In August, HarperCollins published his biographical, motivational book, Slaying the Dragon: How to Turn Your Small Steps to Great Feats. World's fastest man Johnson's clocking of 19.32s en route to breaking the 200 meters world record at the 1996 Olympics led some in the United States to consider him the fastest man in the world. In 1997 Johnson began appearing in Nike television advertisements in which he was billed as world's fastest man as a result of his 200 meters world record. This was despite the fact that the 100 meters world record holder at the time, Donovan Bailey, was typically given that unofficial title. In a much-hyped competition in June 1997, he raced against Bailey in a 150-meter race at the Sky Dome in Toronto. The event was unsanctioned, and its unique course consisted of 75 meters of curved track and a 75-meter straight. The race was billed as a competition for the title of world's fastest man. Quote, however, Johnson failed to live up to expectations when he pulled up around the 100 meters mark after Bailey was already ahead in the race and pulling away, ostensibly having injured his hamstring. Bailey won the race and the $1.5 million prize that came with the victory. Johnson received $500,000. After recovering from the injury, Johnson was able to compete for his third 400 meters world title. The IAAF invented a new policy of giving a bye to the defending champions, essentially to allow Johnson to compete in the IAAF World Championships that year, because Johnson was unable to qualify the conventional method due to his injury from the race with Bailey. More than a month after the U.S. Championships, Johnson had recovered from his injury and won the 400 meters at the 1997 World Championships in Athens. At the 1998 Goodwill Games in New York, Johnson anchored the U.S. 4x400 meters relay team with Jerome Young, Antonio Pettigrew, and Tyree Washington to a win and set a world record of 2 minutes 54 seconds and 20 milliseconds. Pettigrew has since admitted doping from 1997, while Young was caught doping in 1999. The world record was annulled by the IAAF in August 2008, and reverted to the time of 2 hours 54 minutes and 29 seconds Johnson helped set in the 1993 World Championships. Johnson was plagued by injury in 1999, and his following season was troubled with 2 injury scares that limited him to just 4 400 meters races before the 1999 World Championships in Seville. Were it not for the IAAF policy established 2 years earlier for Johnson that allowed automatic entry to defending champions, he could not have raced in Seville since he failed to compete in the U.S. trials due to his injury. He recovered and won his 4th 400 meters world title with a new world record time of 43.18 seconds, which stood for nearly 17 years before being beaten at the 2016 Olympics by the South African Wade van Niekerk. 2000 Sydney Olympics. After qualifying for the 2000 Summer Olympics in the 400 meters at the U.S. Olympic trials, Johnson injured himself in the 200 meters final while racing in a highly anticipated matchup against the 100 meters and 200 meters world champion Maurice Green. The injury prevented a defense of his 200 meters Olympic title. Johnson ended his career at the Sydney Olympics by winning the gold medal in the 400 meters, which brought his total number of Olympic gold medals to 4, by winning the 400 meters at the age of 33 years 12 days. He earned the distinction of being the oldest gold medalist at any track event shorter than 5,000 meters in Olympic history. Johnson was also the anchor of the United States 4x400 relay team along with Alvin Harrison, Antonio Pettigrew, and Calvin Harrison, which originally won the gold medal, but was later stripped of the title after Pettigrew and Jerome Young were found guilty of having used performance-enhancing drugs. On July 18, 2004, the International Association of Athletics Federations ruled that Jerome Young was ineligible to compete in Sydney and annulled all his past results, including those achieved as part of relay teams. Young had competed for the USA team in the heats and semi-final of this event. Therefore, the United States team was stripped of the gold medal and Nigeria, Jamaica, and the Bahamas were moved up one position each. On July 22, 2005, the Court of Arbitration for Sport overturned this decision and restored the original finish order of the race. Then on June 2008, Antonio Pettigrew admitted in court he cheated to win by using banned performance-enhancing substances, and agreed to return his gold medal. Johnson announced that he would return his own gold medal, won as part of the relay team with Pettigrew. Johnson stated that he felt cheated, betrayed and let down by what Pettigrew had done at the Games. Pettigrew committed suicide in 2010. Both of the Harrison twins on the relay team have subsequently received bans for doping offenses. Achievements: Johnson has run 200 meters in under 19.80 seconds 6 times, and he has run the distance in less than 20 seconds 23 times. He holds 9 of the top 50,200 meters performances of all time. Johnson has run 22 400 meters races in under 44 seconds. He holds 22 of the top 50 and 5 of the top 10,400 meters performances of all time. Over the course of his career, he twice set the world record in the 200 meters, 3 times set the world record as part of the 4 times 400 meters relay team, twice set the indoor 400 meters world record, set the outdoor 400 meters world record once, and set the 300 meters mark once. After athletics, Johnson was elected to the United States Track and Field Hall of Fame in 2004, where his 200 meters performance at the 1996 Olympics was named the greatest track and field moment of the last 25 years. Since retiring from competitive track, Johnson currently works as a television commentator, often for the BBC in the United Kingdom, where he also writes a column for the Daily Telegraph. Johnson was part of the BBC's presenting team at the 2012 Olympic Games in London, and fulfilled the same role at the 2016 Olympics in Rio de Janeiro. He was in the BBC commentary booth for the men's 400 meters final in Rio de Janeiro to see his world record broken by Wade van Niekerk, saying about van Niekerk's performance, "Oh my God. From lane 8, a world record. He took it out so quick. I have never seen anything from 200 to 400 like that. That was a massacre from Wade van Niekerk. He just put those guys away." In 2007, Johnson opened Michael Johnson Performance at McKinney, Texas, a training facility for youth athletes aged 9 to 18 and professional athletes in all sports. The company is the official training partner of the Dallas Stars. Johnson's sport management company, Ultimate Performance, serves as agent for track and field athletes, including 2004 Summer Olympics 400 meters gold medalist and fellow Baylor alumnus Jeremy Wariner. In June 2008, Johnson voluntarily returned the 4 times 400 meters relay gold medal he earned in the 2000 Olympics after Antonio Pettigrew, who ran the second leg, admitted he took performance-enhancing drugs between 1997 and 2001. Pettigrew made his admission while giving testimony in the trial of coach Trevor Graham for his role in the BALCO scandal. On August 2, 2008, the International Olympic Committee stripped the gold medal from the U.S. men's 4x400-meter relay team. 3 of the 4 runners in the event final, including Pettigrew and twins Alvin and Calvin Harrison, and preliminary round runner Jerome Young, all have admitted or tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs. Only Johnson and Angelo Taylor, who also ran in preliminary rounds, were not implicated. Johnson had already returned his medal because, as he said, he felt the medal was not won fairly. Johnson appeared as a contestant on NBC's 9th season of The Celebrity Apprentice, placing 10th after exiting the show due to a personal issue on the 5th episode of the season, first airing April 11, 2010. As part of the build-up to the 2012 Summer Olympics, Johnson made a documentary, Survival of the Fastest, for Channel 4, which investigated the dominance of Afro-American and Afro-Caribbean Australian sprinters. The program made the controversial suggestion that a side effect of the slave trade may have been to accelerate natural selection, as only the very fittest could survive the brutal process, resulting in a population predisposed to superior athletic performance. In 1988, Jimmy "the Greek" Snyder was fired from his job at CBS Sports for making similar claims. Johnson currently lives in Marin County, California, with his second wife Armin Shamiayin, a chef, and his son Sebastian, born in 2000 during his first marriage to entertainment reporter Kerry Doyen. Johnson was one of the Olympic torchbearers in the relay in the run-up to the London 2012 Olympics, carrying it to Stonehenge and Salisbury Cathedral in Wiltshire. He currently works for Arsenal, assisting in the development of young athletes in their academy.